Hey, you're listening to Adam Yurchik, recording for TCGplayer.com. Thank you for joining me. We are entering the finals of this Lorwyn-Lorwyn-Morningtide flashback draft, and I won the die roll. I'm going to keep it. Open up on a perfectly fine hand with both colors of mana. I have a 2-drop, 2 3-drops, and a 4-drop, and this Nettle Vine Blight for later. So this is definitely a keep. My opponent goes down to 5. And he put a card on top, so we should be playing Magic here. And pass it back. Hopefully I can take advantage of his weak draw, or the weak draw I hope he has with my aggressive draw. So Firebelly Changeling is cool because it lets Thieving Sprite look at 2 cards. And Thieving Sprite is pretty good against an opponent who has mulliganed twice. And I'll just play that here. There's an argument for saving it as long as I can so I can get the best cards. But I don't really want to play the Mud Button Torch Runner when he doesn't have a creature, ideally. And also the flying creature is a better threat. So he has 2 Dewdrop Spy. 2/2 flash flying. So take one out. And I obviously won't be attacking with this sprite. So actually Mud Button would have been better because I can actually attack with it and trade with the spy. So I'll send the Changeling, and if he blocks I'll pump and pass. He would get to take my turn, but I think that's fine. Puts a block down, I'll pump, pass it back. It's a speed bump, but I'm really actually fine trading there. He's on the back foot now. He's playing on the back foot, but I think that I'm definitely set up to win a long game. So I think his best plan to beat me is to get aggressive with his creatures like Dewdrop Spy. So trading with my weak 2-drop is actually a win for me. I can play this sort of long game against his draw that mulligan twice, and there's really not anything going on. And now I'm actually getting in for damage. And I'll play the Harasser just for mana efficiency. And if he attacks, I'll probably just take the damage because I'd like to get a 2-for-1 with the Harasser or destroy a larger creature. I definitely can't block here because then I'd kill my own sprite. Mull Drifter. Pretty sweet. I'm going to attack with it. The Harasser, if he blocks, then he would get 2-for-1. Oh, I'm a fool. He blocked with his Mull Drifter. I just suicided a 1/1. That was so bad. And he drew 2 cards with the Mull Drifter, so he's back up on cards. I'll definitely keep this Nameless Inversion, though. He gets a land. He probably bottomed it. So that sacrificing that sprite was awful. But this Final Revels is going to be pretty sweet against him. Just sucks because that 1/1 would have been able to start attacking him. So my goblins are not really doing a lot. Nothing special against him because I don't have sacrifice outlets like the typical goblin deck. They're kind of just random ground creatures for me. Alright, I'm willing to just cash in the Revels and just shrink his team. Because he's not showing me anything. If he had some small stuff, he would have cast it. Oh, and I wrath my own team. I still fail to understand how Final Revels works. So I probably just suicided that game for no reason. Because here's Nettlevine Blight. I could have Nameless Inversioned his 2/2, and then I could Nettlevine Blight his other creature and kill that, and he'd be taking like 5 damage a turn, and it would be going pretty well for me. So that's just so bad. Just completely do not understand Final Revels. I saw last game how it pumped my opponent's creatures when I pumped mine. So I feel pretty bad about that. I'm just going to Nameless Inversion his creature. I need to not take damage and get this game to just last for a few turns. Another land for me. I'll pass it back. So as this played out, I think Final Revels could have been pretty good as an anthem for me. I could have probably just taken out his blockers and killed him pretty quickly. Instead, I just wrathed myself, got no value for my creatures. Now I've drawn a string of lands, and he's going to beat me, unless I can hit some spells quickly. That's a harsh lesson. And another land, so I can't win drawing land, and he's going to die, but it's obviously my fault for ever getting into this spot. I had all the tools I needed to win against his weak draw, and I would have been doing just fine. But I am dead. It looks like you drew another spell. Oh no, he's just pumping. Okay. I go to 3, and I am dead on board. Shucks. Alright, so hopefully the next 2 go a little bit better for me. I drew Nameless Inversion, but too little, too late. Alright, so I'm just going to submit this. Don't see any reason to change. He's not playing green for Bogart Loggers. And I don't think his creatures are small enough for Thornbite Staff to do anything. Alright, so I'll choose to play first. And I think I can keep this. It's not a super powerful hand. I don't have all my colors, but with the Meadow, I get to cast the Changeling and play Magic here. And I have a pretty decent curve, so I like to keep this hand. And the Bogart Birthright can return the Changeling. He plays an Angler. I'd gladly trade. There's Final Revels. Maybe this game I could use it to Pyroclasm and keep some creatures in play. Like this Winnower is pretty good with it. And I will not pump twice with the Meadow. I'd rather keep that counter. Ghostly Changeling. I'll offer a trade. He doesn't take it. I won't pump again, and I'll just play this Mauler. I want to get that into play as soon as possible, and then if he kills it, I can get it back with the Birthright. And he might be able to just contain that with his Angler, but eventually I can kill that with the Revels and keep my Mauler alive. I don't know what he's doing. He didn't pump. So maybe he has a Dewdrop Spy again. I can definitely attack into that. If he plays a Spy and double blocks my Mauler, that's fine. I can just get it back. It also seems like a risky play that I don't think he would do against a red-black deck. He takes it. And I suppose I could have actually pumped there. I'll keep up the meadow. So we get to see what he's doing with his mana. Dewdrop Spy at end of turn. So he's being aggressive. So right now all signs point to my final Revels being sweet. Hopefully I can just get him to tap out and not be able to pump his Changeling. I could also play Harasser and then kill it with the Revels and kill a larger creature of his. So he plays Latchkey Fairy with Prowess. And he kills my creature, but I'm going to get to Wrath him here. I could attack, and if he double blocks, just trade off. But I think I'm better off just Wrathing. Well, actually, I just attack him because I could pump the Fire Belly, and I'll just deal a lot more damage this way. And also, if he does do a double block, I think I can just use the Birthright to get back the Mauler and just keep playing this kind of game. I think that'd be just as fine. I don't think I can afford to leave the damage on the table, the 6 damage. I actually can't pump the Fire Belly because then I couldn't Revels. So yeah, I'll just Revels here. And just leave me with the Mauler, and I think I'm in pretty good shape. Skeletal Changeling, that's sweet against the Mauler, so he slow rolled that. That would have been insane to have killed. That's unfortunate, but maybe we can kill it with the Harasser. And I can also pump that Changeling. So I'll definitely attack into it and just keep tying up his mana. He just bounces my creature. And he reveals a Muldrifter, so he wins the clash. I don't want this Adderstaff. That's unfortunate. So not only does he put it on top of my deck and basically get a card, he gets to draw a Muldrifter. So he's in pretty good shape. I'll play Hornet Harasser here. And I do not want to use the Bogart Birthright on Firebelly. So there's Muldrifter. There's Torian Mauler. He just took the damage. Wow. He didn't want to expose his changeling. That's so sweet. So actually, I should have attacked with the Harasser before the Mauler, because then if he blocked and regenerated, I'd just play Final Sting and kill it. So that was a mistake. I actually had an out to kill it right there, and I didn't do it. But he played around it even though I couldn't do it anymore. Anyways, I'm just playing this Ether Snipe. I just need the threat, and it helps get in some damage. Maybe he has a counter spell. Maybe he has another Dewdrop Spy. He could also have Sentinels of Glenelendra. I think I definitely still just attack with everything, because the Mauler will be a 3/3 if he plays Sentinels, and if he plays a Sentinels, I'll be fine trading with the Harasser. And actually, that would be sweet, because then I can get back the Harasser if I want. He does have Sentinels. And he does trade for Harasser. Or block Harasser. I could kill his Maul Drifter if I wanted, but I'd rather kill the 2/3. There's the Changeling. So one of my creatures is tied up. But he's still going to be facing a lethal attacker, so he has to do something. Maybe he has a Dewdrop. Final Sting Fairy should be sweet. I could play the Final Sting after combat, ideally, but I could play the Thieving Sprite now and take a look at 2 cards. That doesn't really get me anywhere. I think my best plan is to just attack and reevaluate after combat. He's either chumping or he's playing something. Maybe he'll, block and then cast Nameless Inversion at end of turn. If I think he is playing a black spell, if I think he's playing Nameless Inversion or something, I could use Final Sting on his Changeling and guarantee that he doesn't get to regenerate and kill my creature. Then he either has to choose between killing my creature or regenerating, which is super good. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'll keep the Thieving Sprite until he has nothing left except the number of cards that I'm going to be seeing, so I can just take his best card. Doesn't look like he's going to be emptying his hand, so I'm fine just keeping the Sprite till later. And I could use the Birthright this turn, but I don't see any reason to get back a Firebelly Changeling. Maybe if I could play it. If I had another land and I could play it, then that would be something else. I think that would actually be a sweet play, because it's a lethal threat. But in this case, I'm just keeping it back as insurance for if my Mauler dies. Okay, so we can play the Thieving Sprite now. Take a look at what he's got going on. but should be in pretty good shape. Spell Stutter Sprite. So he's actually countering it. That's pretty awesome. Alright, send them all. He could put everything in front of the Mauler and kill it. But that obviously isn't realistic. He'll block the Mauler, regenerate. He should probably trade my 2/2 with his 3/2 and then chump, or he's just going to double block the Aether Snipe and then go to 1. That looks nice too. So in this case, I think getting back Firebelly Changeling is a path to victory, so I am going to do that. Play it, passive turn back, and now he has to deal with 2 things, and that's going to be really hard to do. And he can't, and I win. So after that awful game 1, we salvage game 2, and hopefully we can come back and take this match. Thornbite Staff could be good against him. We've seen some more small creatures now. But I still don't have a lot of creatures. But I could move it between creatures and take them down. I think it's actually worthwhile. Maybe I just cut the Birthright. I think Firebelly's been good. All of my early stuff is good. Hornet Harasser's not great, actually. Bogart Birthright would be sweet if I could find Inversion. But it and also is pretty good with Pilferers. I think that the Birthright's actually pretty good. It is weak against Spell Stutter Sprite, though, which is something to consider. I'm going to bring in the staff, and I'm going to cut... a Harasser. And I'm going to run this. There's the staff. So he chooses to play and mulligans. I'm on the draw. My hand is so close to being really good, but I just can't keep this with 1 land. I can't condone that. I do have a 2-drop, a 3-drop, a 4-drop, a 5-drop, and I'm really tempted to keep it, but I just can't do it. Even the 1 land is perfect too. It's a Vivid Marsh, but let's mulligan. Oh. So this hand's a swamp away from being perfect. I think I really want to keep this hand. I get to scry. Double Inversion, Birthright. Pepper Smoke could even kill something. On the other hand, it's kind of slow. I have 12 black sources in here. I have to mulligan. And I have to go to 4. I'll keep this. That sucks. I'll keep the Pepper Smoke. So I wish I would have kept that 6. I don't think it was right to, but I wish I would have. I can Pepper Smoke that, but I'm going to try to wait until I draw a card from it. I can't afford to just give up a card here. I can definitely afford to take 3 damage. There's an argument for using Pepper Smoke on the Changeling because it enables him to get a Latchkey Fairy into play. I'm just playing the fairy because I want to kill his changeling with Pepper Smoke. And hopefully I can, that gives me an extra chance at a land, and then I could play the Winnower as well next turn, and then stop his changeling. Oh no, so he plays Merfolk. Reejerey makes his changeling a 2/2, so I can no longer Pepper Smoke it. So I got fully punished there. Oh, okay, sweet. Nameless Inversion. So now I'm going to inversion the Adept or the Reejerey and actually block the Final Sting on the Sentinels. But he has a counter spell that I cannot stop because he has three fairies even if I kill his spell stutter. So that means I am forced to block the changeling. Or I can get him to double pump, Pepper Smoke it down. Trying to think if I have an outs to Revel here. I really don't. And that'll do it. So thank you for watching.